So how do we make melee viable? How do we make melee viable again? Question mark. So let's talk about bows first, right? What, in 3.17 got a huge damage buff so that the flat damage numbers and percentages matched that of two-handed weapons, right? So this was a big turning point. This is why bows got a huge buff. Why the f would you ever play melee if this is what a bow does? And the big one, yes. Quiver 2? On top of all of this? No wonder no one's playing melee. Look at everything that this gets. Where's the positive for this? Like, why would you do this? So how do we fix it? Oh, fortify, I guess. Multi-strike? Who cares about multi-strike when you can shoot 17 trillion projectiles a second? Probably faster than a multi-striker. Leap slam with attack speed. Okay, I guess nice movement skill. We're scraping the bottom of the barrel right now. Needs totems. This is a negative. Close combat. This is a negative. I'm just not seeing why you would play this over this. I mean, this over this. You get all this cool stuff. Range, crazy number of projectiles, chain, pierce, fork, return, split, distance, and you get a quiver on top of a two-handed weapon. And then melee is just like, oh hi, I have a two-handed weapon. I need to stand in front of stuff to kill it, and then I have to drop a totem to kill anything. But now what do we do about this? And Guitaraholic yesterday on stream, apparently he also said this in Arrow stream last week, had a wonderful idea, and he said, well, how come these guys get quivers? How come a bow gets all these benefits, and on top of it, they also get a second item slot? What if new supports? Maybe, but I don't know if it's enough mechanically. But Guitaraholic said, what if totems were itemized and craftable? So instead of you have a two-handed weapon, but then your offhand, you basically have a quiver, but it's a totem. So what would that look like? Check this shit out. Look at what this guy did. Through the power of Mid-Journey or something, he has created us simulated offhand totems. Look at this. Yeah, you would have a totem as a pseudo quiver stat stick, and maybe the implicits could, well, we discussed some of the potential implicits, but maybe some of the implicits could be based around existing totem skills, right? So the implicit could be basic stuff. Impale as a con. So, wait, we'll save this one for later, but he was saying, like, for implicits, we could have percent LE damage, fizz damage, stun, slams, attack speed, and then modifiers could be life, attack speed, melee strike range, rage generation, crit chance, multi, resist, AoE, armor. Could do a ton of stuff with this. As for implicits, I would want to add that you could, you know, let's see existing totem skill PoE. So you can have implicits that are similar to existing totem skills, and then maybe some that are more generic. Or you can have modifiers that are similar to existing totem skills. And more generic mods that relate to melee. Implicit ideas. So we got Guitaraholics over here. He was just suggesting stuff like percent LE damage, or we could just say WED, flat percent or flat fizz, and then stun chance, attack speed, AoE, slams. What did you mean by slams? Like strike skill, skills target nearby as potential implicits, or Yeah, why does a two-handed rated affixes bow get a quiver, but other two-handeds don't? Exactly. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And on top of it, they get all these other benefits. Like, huh? What? Like, no wonder Melee's dead. Other implicits could be... Maybe we could do, like, totem implicits. So, stuff like melee strike range. Oh, actually, that's another one we could add. Strike range. Did I add that? No. 20% more attack speed while totem is active. More attack speed? 2 OP? Definitely 2 OP. Or this one is more melee damage. That's, I mean, frick it, why not? Why can we not have a more multiplier on a offense totem? Have it just like 10% more attack speed. I don't know, 10% more melee damage, something like that. Let's check out like Khan's Bone Zone. And what we can do is pull up his POB and then simulate the buffs to more quality, the damage increase from more that we're getting from the quality, and then throw in like a pseudo totem and see if it's just completely ridiculous. If we compare this with like a later version, we'll be getting a lot more damage. So 2.7, 2.5, it's getting about 200,000 more damage. So about 10% more damage from that, just from that axe. And now what if we were to simulate a little item, like a fake item in the config? So let's make ourselves a totem. Plus 89 to maximum life. Adds 8 to 21 physical damage. Really? It doesn't... Wait, what? Adds a little bit. Is that number maybe a little bit too low? Plus 53 to strength. I mean, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't suddenly make the numbers go absolutely insane, right? So, yeah, it's like a mini squire that can hold an additional support gem. Ooh, that's a crazy idea. Would that just not always be the pick? We could add it in here. Mini squire with additional socket for a free 7th link. But then would it do anything else? Would it be rollable, or would it just be maybe like an implicit on a socket? Because now we're getting into broken territory. If this has a 7th link and you can roll it and it has an implicit, it's like completely busted. Or is it? You know what? If I were working at GGG and I was working on this, I would say maybe it's busted. Who cares? Let it be busted. Let it be busted for a league, and then we'll fix it. Yeah, just to give it its own identity. I love that idea. I think it's a great idea. No! Your coin is on the theory that totems are a reserve skill and deploy when you attack. Uh-oh. Tinctures come back like a mini totem, but with 4 mods and work with everything. So bow's still good, but melee gets a huge buff. I like that, Clopsy. You could also maybe, with a totem idea, maybe have some kind of implicit that is similar to a heist. Like a heist enchant. You know, physical damage modifiers of main hand weapon are increased by, I don't know, 15% or something like that. So what are the other problems facing melee? I guess is a good question. Like, does this probably isn't enough to solve it, but I guess the thing is just bringing bows and melee a little bit more in line. What does melee need to be viable? Question mark. Or the thing is, melee is viable. It's just that shit like DD and lightning arrow exists. So every time you play it, you're like, this is not DD or lightning arrow. I mean, you can play bone shatter, man. It does work, but to be, what should we say? What do we need for melee to be good? There's a lot of cool ideas. I think maybe if we were to think about this more, we would need to think, what is the main problem with melee? And I think it comes down, like a few people have said, just mechanically. The mechanics are just not up to date with the pace of the game. And like most of the melee skills, if you want to play old school proper melee where you know, hitting one thing at a time, that just can't exist in PoE anymore. Kind of can't exist anymore.
Divine power! Divine power! It's branching, exile. You're making me nervous.